just connect this for me? Oh, you have one. Okay.
Like pointers.
We're also streaming like that. I would like to show you that the audience is a little wider than we were saying. Alright.
Alright. Thank you very much. The first seat. I'm camera shy, and now you are Mike. Cameras also getting really. I hope I don't get confused too much. Anyway, how are you? Extremely sorry. I got my directions. No, so sincerely. Maybe it's to the advantage of those who are joining us. Let's get it going. Yes?
Just a minute.
Okay. We don't want to wait. So make it easier for you, hands-free. Okay, so I try to make it me less nervous to talk. And I said I am extremely shy person, but I'm also a talkative. So let me look at the time. I've been told I have 40 minutes. Make sure it counts. So when the presentation comes up, then I'll know what I'm supposed to talk about. And then, by the way, before the presentation, I'm going to introduce myself. All my life, I've been doing financial advisory. So, helping rich people get richer. That's the way I define it. Buying banks and selling big companies is the thing that I specialize in. And you can guess that even today's presentation, I did it only last night. If you see any typos, don't blame me. Some banks want to merge or they don't want to merge, and that's what I was working on before I realized I have to speak today. So forgive all typos that you see. Please, can you make this bigger? Okay, it's me, isn't it? I mean, well, thank you very much. But the last 4 years, all that I've been doing is that I stopped making money for the rich because they are big already. And now I focus a lot on people who are at least 2 or 3 levels lower than the very rich in Ghana. That's what I focus on. And I've been given a topic that, as of now, I'm struggling whether it is correct. They say unconventional capital, raising money where nobody knows you. So there will be a time for everyone. But let me ask somebody. Okay, everybody, when I ask a question, you put up your hand. If it is true. So how many of you knows a pastor? How many of you knows a pastor? Just put up your hand and don't drop it. How many of you know somebody who works with an advisory firm? So, no, keep up your hand. I want to make sure. So, young man, do you know a pastor? Do you know somebody who is a successful entrepreneur? Can you go to him? Then, okay, case that. Let's go home. I'm supposed to talk about when nobody knows you. And I'm going to prove to you that if you know a pastor, if you know somebody who works in an advisory firm, then you cannot say nobody knows you. And which technically means that this course is not for you. But since you paid and you are here and I've dressed up for you, let's get it done for the next 6 months, okay? Then the rest will be for 2 months. So this is what I've done the last 4 years. I said the last 4 years I stopped making money for the rich. So I don't want to talk about that. What I want to talk about is what I've done in the last 4 years. Thank God for the women. So the last 4 years, what I've done is that I was working at Fidelity as the MD of Fidelity Securities, and it hit me that we were doing a research, and it hit me that we have only 1.3 million Ghanaians on Social Security, and yet more than 10 million went to vote and made noise, which means in the next 30 years, only 1.3 million of the 10 million will end up with pension, and 9 million people will not have a pension. And yet they were choosing presidents and thinking that they are doing this nation a service. So I decided to dedicate myself to fix that problem. I want you to know that I dedicated myself to fix that problem by leaving the rich people that I was making money for and then trying to fix a problem. I'm making it because that is a team for me. And this is what we've done. We started managing pensions. 2014 it was just 1 million. 2015 we went to 31, 117, 192, end of year, and now we are here. We are the fastest growing family. We got an award last year, December, to show for it. So we are doing something nice at Bora Capital Advisors. And the thing that is making us do something nice and get recognized is what hopefully I can teach you, and you go home with the idea. Helping banks to buy banks, Omni Bank, Heritage Bank to fix is one of the things we've done over the past. I don't want to talk about the past. I was beyond here. But at least that is me. When we say conventional or unconventional capital and going to raise money when nobody knows you, before we talk about that, know 3 things that are important for any project that you want to do. If you are an entrepreneur, try and make sure that you fix this thing I call the 3 cardinal test. If you are following any project and it doesn't fit it, you will struggle. The rest is easy. This is your number 1 headache. So, what's the first test? Is the project viable? And the thing is, are you solving a problem that people will pay for? If your project that you are doing is not solving a problem that people will pay for and make you rich, then you have an issue. So whatever project that you embark on, make sure you are solving a problem. It doesn't matter if somebody else is doing it and that person is making money. Because a company that is making money today can turn around tomorrow and be making losses. Not long ago, BDCs were the bulk of the rich people in Ghana, oil bulk distributors. It took only one thing to happen and all of them collapsed, and they nearly collapsed the banks in Ghana. And now the banks are the ones struggling. So if you are doing any business, make sure that project is viable. To check whether your project is viable is a whole course on its own. And I don't have 40 minutes for it, so I will leave it. But please check that your project is viable. The next one is be sure not to overstate your market. Be realistic. This is the headache of young entrepreneurs. People who want to do it. I had 3 guys who walked into my office for consultancy, free of charge. They want to deliver lunches prepared around Ghana. They go to restaurants. You order online. They will go to the restaurant and bring the food. You don't need to move. Fantastic idea. Lazy people. These days we are all lazy. We sit in our office, and then wherever you order food, they will bring it and deliver it. They have major. Then I looked at their financial projections. When I looked at their financial projections, all of them will be millionaires within 2 years. So I asked them, have you pumped the champagne? And then it was like they were laughing. I said, hey, how many of you can go to a restaurant, these 3 of you go to a restaurant that is delivering your food and it's late? How many of you can speak out to the owner and say that I need that food in 10 minutes? Then they realize that they have a bigger problem. Because you can't force Ghanaian cooks to deliver a food within 20 minutes, and then they have no way of navigating my food from East or Cantonments to East Legon within 15 minutes. So you have a bigger headache. And yet these guys were delivering almost 200 packets of food a day. So I beg you, research well, talk to experts significantly before you go out that your business is viable. The headache with most people is that we don't do it. We get an idea, the big money is here. Now it gets me more nervous. This is a man that gives money to people who wants to finance their business. So if I see his face, it might change what I want to say. But let's go on. So 3 things. Have you spoken to experts about your project? Are you willing to sacrifice everything to get it done? Now, if you take this, then we can go on how to raise the money for you. If you haven't done this, please, that's stage 1. Now, I'll go through quickly on where you can get money. Quickly, where you can get money, or the forms of money that helps young intermediaries. All of you are relatively young. You are not like this man. If I'm talking to this man, see big profile and presentations like. So first one is we call bootstrapping, which is self-funding or using your family and friends. That is the first level. Please, if you're starting a business, listen to me. If you're starting a business, stop talking to microfinance people. They will kill your dreams. Stop looking at it. Look at here first. Starting small, bootstrapping. Prepare yourself, save yourself. I've never seen an Olympic winner who did not practice or prepare. Have you seen one who are just, out of classroom and he got on the track and he's first? So why are you not preparing yourself to become an entrepreneur? I'll give one excuse. When I realized I wanted to leave Fidelity, my password for Fidelity at Fidelity when I was there was leaving 24. 24 means 24 months before I leave Fidelity. The following month it changed to leaving 23, 22, 21, 20. It came down to leaving 06. Then I realized I didn't have enough, but I was determined. So I put exclamation mark at the end and made it 12. I cheated. But bottom line, exclamation mark, the day that it was leaving, 00 exclamation, I handed in my resignation letter. Guess what? It is 2 years, 6 months. what was I doing? I was bootstrapping, self-funding, preparing for it. So how much have you saved for it? For your own, for people to believe and support you. That is what we need. Then crowdfunding. These days, internet is everywhere. You can actually set up, prepare your business plan, send it, win all the things. Spend all your time on Facebook. Stop that. Look for crowdfunding. Look at the ideas that are winning and ideas that are not winning. And then you check yours. This is what we call crowdfunding. There are guys who are there who have made a lot of money, looking for the next big thing to make money. Investors are looking for ways to make the next thing. They want to support the next Uber project. They want to support the next whatever. I don't know the next big thing that is coming. But anything that will make investors more rich, they are greedy. Remember, investors are greedy. Yeah. So whatever will make them more rich, they are looking out for it with their money. But you should convince them. Convincing them to you have competition. Everybody is submitting their project, and therefore, then there are angel investors. No, you see, they are greedy, but they come with all sorts of names. Some angel investors are there, they are part of the crowd. Some of us just want to do donation and help. We don't have time. In Ghana, for instance, there are a lot of angel investors, but they don't call by them. You can't see a poor woman who has made money call himself an angel investor. But they are there. If you get an elderly person to go, or your pastor, that is why I said first person I saw. If you have a good idea and your pastor can take you to that man and say and convince him, you look at our Sarfo, look at everybody, you can look at the chief and give you some money. So they are angel investors. Unlike Abuche, where they have all the big names, in Ghana they don't have fanciful names, but they exist. Then there are the guys who call themselves venture capitalists. They can say all the grammar. They finish their Harvard, whatever schools, and they are there, and they are being supported with money. They call themselves venture capitalists. If you Google venture capitalist Ghana, the hits that you get is enough. So there are these guys there that are also giving funding. I want to rush through and then you solve your problem. So, you see, I'm discerning from yourself, going out to the more fanciful and sophisticated way. And then there are competitions. Sometimes the very problem that you want to solve, there's a competition out there. Somebody sitting somewhere wants to solve that problem. In this country, we have almost all the international development finance institutions here. Why are they here? They want to help Africans. They want to help us develop. It helps them to, flex in their hometown that they are doing something outside. So you look out for the things that they want to solve in our country and see if you can think through the solution. And then you go to them and say, I want to participate. Sometimes it is a competition that you go with your best idea. Sometimes create the competition yourself and win it by going there and asking them to create a competition because you want to participate and get some grant funding. But whatever it is, there's always funding for when you win contests. So you can look at those ones as well. Then you raise money through bank loans and microfinance and non-bank financial institutions. This one is here. He runs one of the non-bank financial institutions I like very much. I showed you a lot of the money that we are managing and is growing. I can say, not because he is here, but because I can also show you that I give Daylex a lot of my money. If I don't have any restriction, if I want to sleep, I give money to dailies. If I want to sleep, they invest or give money sensibly. So, but they are there. There are people like that. And then they have the almighty things. I don't want you to focus particularly on microfinancing. The average microfinance borrows money more than about 4%. Or let's say 3%. Let's say 3% a month roughly. Until recently that they are reducing their rate. They were borrowing money at 3%. So they will lend to you at 3% a month. That's 36%. What it means is that if whatever you are going to do, you prepare it, you go to the market and you sell, and you don't get, within 1 year, if you don't get 36%, you've worked for them. See why plenty people are setting up microfinance and other. All your big ideas, you are selling and the margin goes to them. You yourself, you work for nothing. They are very expensive. They are useful, but if you are not ready, don't go to them. They will collapse your business. Yes, sir. But in this people, they give it to individuals. So, well done. Businesses, but not many. Good. Say, I won't give them money if they were giving to me. But they were giving to businesses and it's risky. The thing is that don't make your business risky by just going for this growth. It is easier to get a loan than to raise equity. It is a lot easier. Sometimes you just have to know one or two people at the place. They will give you a loan. But you know what? Those are the things that kills you fast. Your idea has not taken ground. It's like a child trying to walk. And you say that child should carry the bigger sister. You damage the spine of the baby. If you don't know how to run, you don't know how to even walk properly, and you start running, before anybody falls you, you'll be dead. I beg you, stop going there unless you really talk about it. There are more easier ways to make money and raise money. Let me go back here. I don't want to emphasize this government program for SMEs. You see, for instance, anybody who wants to do a mango farm in Ghana, literally, mango farm, as long as you can sit down and prepare a mango farm and get a land in the bush, ED funding will give you all the money from preparation of the land until the month you start harvesting. But you need to go there and look through it and talk. So why do you want to do a farming and start borrowing when you can go to some of this project for low cost funding? It requires you to maybe spend a week, 2 weeks preparing a detailed report before you can assess it. Talking to people, what is needed, what is not. The hard work part, a lot of people don't need it. Then the international programs. I was sitting there and decided that I wanted to finance a lot of guys to go to university. I'm sitting in Ghana. I sent a proposal to Bill Gates Foundation that they should give us money to support bright by needy people in Ghana. And whilst I was doing it, I realized that there are more than 1,000 such foundations there that you can write to a good proposal and they will review it. You may be successful, you may not be successful, but some are raising money through that. So these are really from bootstrapping, which is your own self, to even getting international funds. It is there. The question is, which ones are the unconventional ones when nobody knows you? And I've said that, as far as I'm concerned, that doesn't really work. So the question is really, doesn't matter if no one knows you. Let's try and answer that question. does it really matter if you want to? Uber, Momo, the guy who produced gum, Kakao, yes, so can somebody tell me what they have in common? Uber, Kakao, yes, so the person will win the prize. So try and tell me what they have in common. The guy who produced the gum, or okay, let me add the deodorant to it. The production of deodorant. What do they have in common? You win a prize right now. Somebody tell me. Yes. Almost there. Almost there. Why are they important? They produce something that somebody needed. Okay? Whatever you pay to get in here, I'll refund it. That's your price. That is your price. You see, they solved the problem. That the guy who came up with Uber knows anybody in Ghana. But we are all using it, and we often find a solution to a need, and you will find investors. Find a solution to the need. The guy who made gum in particular popular, you know what he did? He started by selling shaving powder, and then when you buy a shaving powder, she will give you the gum. And realize that more people were coming for the gum. They were more interested in the gum than the shaving powder, because they will stand there and say, oh, can you give me 2 more? Can you give me? Then you stop. Okay, I would rather sell the gum and then now give the shaving powder as well. And that's how we really make a lot of money out of gum. And people realize the same thing. The lady who, she couldn't stand people who had odor. She couldn't. She was a scientist and couldn't stand people who had odor, body odor. So what did he do? He said, okay, let me do something and get it out. And true and behold, they made a lot of money and became millionaires. So Kataodia, so lady, I don't know her, but I know her. Why? She prepared the best watch in Ghana. That's what everybody says. So there are all of us who go and chase Kataodia just because she prepared the best watch. And most of the time, she won't fail you. When you go, you get a watch. The best, and it's available. What need are you solving? Ghanaians like watching. So she prepared the best watching, and 2 is always available. Almost the same taste. It's like the woman who said cocoa at aviation house near. You can tell it's almost the same taste. And she employs a lot. He called it VIP cocoa. And she's something like this. I like cocoa. So for some reason I can't eat watch, I can't eat, but I like cocoa. And every day I'll try it. Anytime I'm coming to her, just and she's there. The taste is almost the same. When I buy one, yeah, I need to flex more, so sometimes I buy 4 and do it and leave it to people in my office. And she's making money out of it. So it doesn't really matter. Find a need and then solve it. So we say solve the problem and the rest becomes easy. If you are not solving a problem, then you have a problem of I don't know anybody and I need to connect to so many people before. But what really matters, all the people who are risen from rags to riches, this is what they say. This is what they say matters. There's a whole survey done by Harvard Business School. And this is the thing that the top characteristics of rags to riches story documented. It's passion and motivation, not afraid to take risks, self-belief. And look, the right connection is number 8. So as far as I'm concerned, It doesn't really matter if you don't know anybody. What matters is that your project or what you want to do should make sense. Okay. The only thing that works when you have a goal is to keep it simple. Keeping it simple means fix your cost, your staff, and rent. I had a young people in my church. They came to me. They want to invest in a project. They need 30,000. They need 30,000 Ghana cedis to start. They are 3 young guys. They came to me. So I asked them a very simple question. Okay, what's your cost breakdown? Staff cost for about 1 year before the money comes in. We need about 10,000 for the rent and then 10,000 for the equipment. I looked at them. When I wrote down the 3, I canceled the first 2 and said that you need 10,000. You don't want to. You are unemployed, you are sitting at home. You want to do a business and then you want to start with 30,000. Okay. I looked at it and said, you need 10,000, maybe 2,000 for other things. Kill yourself small. Your rent. Why go and rent a place with 10,000 cedis when you can buy 2 of the machines? Have you seen the thing there? 2 of the machines that you want to buy will be 20. Yet you want to fail. And this is something that kills a lot of projects. Young guy, you want to set up a project, he goes and rent a place and put the AC on. Before you see the air conditioner, you put a secretary there, and the secretary has the AC on 24 hours. When you see the boss, hey, the boss has come. The AC is on, the electricity company is sending the bill. The restrooms are all on, people are coming. See, Apple started from where? Garage. You are sitting in Ghana and you want a big office with an AC on before you start. So they are going around with a document looking for 10,000 to rent a place. Meanwhile, there are a lot of uncompleted buildings next to their house. That all that they need to do is to go and tell the man that, can we use this for 6 months while we test our project? You see, so sometimes we don't need it. I'll tell you, up to now, the office that I'm in, we are the 8th largest pension fund manager in the country. We are so close to data bank. You see how big data bank is when it comes to the size of pension fund they manage. Data bank is maybe twice as. But the office that I'm in, if you come there, Ken has been there. Go upstairs, the place is hot. Even the mattresses that were in the place, I didn't pay somebody to take it out and to the next house and go. They are still in some of the rooms out there. Why spend that money? You go to Smith, I was on 11,000 basic. I went to Bora. Started with 500. That's net record. Then went to 2,000. And the thing is that because if you are not careful, it will kill you. Those are the things that will kill you. ACs are on all the time, big lines. We need a photocopier, fax machine. We don't have an order. Some of them buy cars. Microfinance people. I had a microfinance company next to my office, walking distance. They start with 50 cars. So I used to tell the people in my office, you know what? In 3 years' time, when they are selling, I'll buy some of the cars for you. Guess what? I was late. I gave my people 3 years. Within 2 years, customers were coming for cars. They couldn't get their money, so they started taking away the cars. I was planning 3 years. It took them 2 years to collapse. So be careful the high overhead costs. fix that, and you are fine. So this is not really how to find money course. It's how to get it right. See, one of the things I did, East Legon building, one of the things I did was that I gave the man I was going to rent, I said, boss, I won't pay you $2,000 a month when I don't know whether this thing will work or not. So this is the deal. You are a rich person, and your capital is that it will cost me $120,000 to rent your place for 2 or 3 years. I'm converting that into equity. So you have 50% of the business. Deal or no deal? He looked at me and said, okay, you can use the place for 1 year for free. You know why? So that if it doesn't work out, in 1 year time, you can come and sack me nicely. So he uses the place for 1 year for free. I said, oh, thank you. We are 4 years. He hasn't even bothered to come for the 4th year rent. Why? Now the business that we are going to pay him, well, last time he did his evaluation, it's worth more than 500,000. He doesn't want to come. He doesn't want to accept me. So me too, I'm not paying. See, but I didn't have to pay 120,000 to somebody before I go out. You are a young guy starting a business and you want 100%. Start learning to give some away. That is on the unconventional capital. Instead of going to look for 120,000 loan and give it to somebody to sit there so that you can use his place. You know what, master? You have 120 worth of shares in my company. Case closed. I've raised the money. I didn't have to go out. I found somebody and capital. So these young men who are looking for 10,000 they can raise a whole 1/3 of the amount they need by going to the office and tell the man that we are giving you what 1/3 of our business. We want to use your office. And guess what? A lot of rich people, it's not your 10,000. They look at you and they want to give you something, but you have to go there with an intelligent proposal. Something that if he gives you and his wife went, they will say because of the young girl that are coming there, that is why. So he said, look, I bought 1/3 of their business and I'm giving them the place for 3 years. Business growth. It's a business transaction. The man can defend himself. I don't go there and say that. So do things like that. This is like the thing that I call fix your overhead. Operate from the garage if necessary. My business we made our first 120,000 income once it was my backpack. My letterheads and everything were in this backpack. Now I've changed it. Yeah. I was sitting at Fidelity doing it, but my company was incorporated, was doing everything. Idredefa was aware I have a company, but everything was my backpack. Have a business like this, start small. Don't try and show off to people. But, well, I'm supposed to help you find investors. Okay? And what I'm doing is I'm preaching you not to overhype your cost. But really, finding investors is this simple. Who is your mentor? Okay, anybody here who hasn't got a mentor? Who is mentoring you? Do you have a mentor? You don't. And you're a businessman. First thing first, find a mentor. You know what mentors do? They connect you when a mentor, look at the executives, bank executives who are just retired. Do you know one? Don't know any bank executive who has retired. Go and talk to your pastor. You know a pastor there. Talk to a pastor at your church and say, who are the old bankers that are here? Or you know a young person who works in a bank. Just ask him, I want to see an old banker or an old lawyer. Lawyers, they've done so many cases that they have so many friends. There are people who owes them that haven't paid. Use that favor. That is going to die without you exercising it. So find those ex-ministers. Look, a lot of the NDC ministers, you know them. There were about 80 of them. Now a lot of them are not working. They are home. But they have got all the connections. They can open any door for you. Businessmen don't care whether it's NPP or NDC. Remember, they don't care. They keep everybody sweet. Because Ghanaians have shown that every 8 years this guy will come. So the businessmen, okay, now you get more, you get small. In 8 years time or 12 years time, you get small, this guy will get it. That's how the business is run. So all the NDC people who are now less busy, and I'm not saying they are not busy, I say they are less busy. Then people have more problems to deal with. Look for those guys, make them mentors. Let them teach you how to connect, how to open doors with the banks and the financial institutions for you to raise. Have a mentor, somebody who will teach you how businesses work. And know the type of investor that you are looking for. There are some that will sit on you on a daily basis. Look, if you are going to pick an ex-banker who likes to talk, remember, he will come regularly and come and sit down to talk. If you let us know you are not a talking type. There are some investors who want to run the business. They are like your general manager. In fact, you think they will run everything. Everything you have to run by them. There are some that want to report monthly and weekly. Know that if you are not the person who wants to be reporting and others, then be careful there whether you are going for an active or a passive investor. These are how you find it. But more importantly, understand the industry here. Understand the industry. You want to do food processing. If you want to know the industry, food processing, go to the shelf of the big supermarket. Know the Ghanaians who are selling. The names are on the boxes. They are including contact details. The names are on there. Then start looking for those companies and research on them before you start asking for them. Know your comparables. What do you want to do? You want to do canned foods. What is the other one? Include a new type of foods or whatever. If that's what you want to do, research on including. Read somewhere that is how somebody helped them. You see, the person, for instance, the person who helped Nkulelu to become Nkulelu is still there. Maybe a bit older, they're more talkative. The man who helped Alex to stand on his own. I mean, you are not running the show. But somebody, there are people behind the scenes. Somebody provided the capital. Eno Capital puts on there that they also provided. Do you know who Eno is? You want to go to the next and make a connection. Who are the shareholders of Eno? You want to go to Fidelity Bank? Fidelity Bank puts the shareholders in their annual report every year. Check the first one. Who are the people there? Who are the shareholders of Ghana Commercial Bank? Who are the owners of this company? It is there as part of Ghana requirements. The top 20 people, their names are there. Research about those people. They are all sitting at home. Master, I've seen your name in the Ghana Commercial Bank as the maybe 10th largest shareholder, which means you are very good. The first shareholders of EcoBank Ghana, do you know them? These are the people who made EcoBank. They are connected. They can open doors at EcoBank. Have you checked them? This is what we mean by if you want to go into an industry, research into that industry. Immerse yourself. Now the next one is, this is how you find the investors. Because you don't know anybody. Guess what? If you can connect with the people who made this business, you can connect with the shareholder. More or less, he's the owner. If Mr. Alex Brooks say that you should talk to, this one should talk to you, guess what? You are 50% solved. Anna, very right. If Dan Ofori tells me, the man whose property I'm using, tells me that you are coming to my office and I should make sure you are happy, at least you get to, you will see me, I will scream at you. Because so the people who owns the institution that you want to go to for funding, who owns that? A lot of them are rich, sitting at home and they are talkative. They just want somebody to talk to. Don't say you don't know anybody. Send them a mail. They are these days, because of Facebook, you can send them that message there, right? And start chatting from there. Then you ask them an intelligent question. They said, okay, if you want to follow up, call me on this number. You've connected. Why you say you don't know anybody? This is the man who helped this big business become big. You connect. The money will come. You open doors. The next one is to get out there and pitch. Get out there and pitch. So what are you going to pitch with? What is your pitch document? The first day that Fidelity Bank said I should help them raise money, Fidelity Bank was in the fourth quarter. When you draw the banks and when you put them in the line, you divide it into four. Fidelity was in the fourth quarter. Bottom. Today, the banks that are struggling, but they deliver hard and foresight. I should capitalize. I should always capitalize every 2-3 years, put money into it. I was brought in to help you. When we were going to present the bank, he had 101 slides on the bank. This is a bank that is in the fourth quarter. You call it the gospel according to 101 in 55. 101 slide. That man can talk 2 hours on what he wants to do. Today, banks are falling apart and he's standing strong. He taught you and worked on it. Where's your pitch? He had made transition from what? A discount house into a bank, and yet what he wants to do was 101 long. So before you ask me any question, he has talked about it and processed it. He looks impressive in front of investors. What about you? How many slides have you done? On your idea, what problem are you solving? Why should the person help you? And what is the need for that person? Have you answered these questions? If you've answered this, then you become my KSC man, my all-time person, all-time tenacity. Eh? A man who will not take no. You know KSC? You see the man, that old man, his face is like the only one of all the people who have become rich. He's the only one that still have his face on it. Every chicken that you buy, the box, it comes out. It's well known globally. You know what he was? He was doing fried chicken. All that he had was a fried chicken recipe. And he believed that this thing, anytime he used it to prepare chicken for people, they liked it. But he has failed. His restaurant was going down. He had a broken. He was retiring. He has crossed 60. So you haven't crossed 60. You are nowhere near that. And then you say that I don't know anybody, so you are sitting down. What did this man do? He went the whole nation. He drove around the US. US is a very big country. Have you driven around even the CBD, Ghana? When I came from London and I wanted to work, yeah, 3 days in a row, I had my CDs and my letters. And I was going from first Bank of Ghana, then the next banks, then the next ones. I went down to the end. And the taxi man was sitting outside. He became my friend for a long time. I didn't pay him only for 3 years. I think I paid him for almost 2 years. Every night he passed by, boss, and he said. But when I went to Merchant Bank where I got my first job, I was there and I saw my classmate. He said, "Hey, Romeo, what are you doing here?" I said, "Oh, Charlie, I'm looking for a job." Then he told the HR guy, "Oh, this guy is good, give me a job." That's how I got fairly quick into the banking industry. But before then, I have gone to so many companies. They are sitting there doing what? This man used to sleep in his car. An old man, he's on retirement, old in retirement. But because he believed that he could make it, he was sleeping in his cars. Where are you sleeping? Where are you sleeping? When was the last time you slept in your office? You slept in your office because this is the number of times he was rejected. 1,009. How many times have you been rejected? Sorry? How many times have you been rejected? 5. You have not even ticked off this 9. So let me tell you, it's not going to be easy. The only thing is that focus and refuse to let anyone stop you. Focus and refuse to let anyone. I'll give you my own opinion. When I said I wanted to fix a problem, my problem was that I believe personally that no Ghanaian at our age or in this modern age should grow to become a retiree and be dependent on politicians' promises. You should have sufficient pension. Any country where politicians don't matter too much, that system or that country has a pension program. So they can decide to change. Look at the Italians. So many times, elections, they don't care. If you can't form a government, walk around. Europe, the Americans, all because they don't care so much about politicians. In fact, America has elected an idiot as a president to say, well, it doesn't really affect them because most of them, they are secure. So this is what I dedicated myself to, that we will find a situation where we face it. I'm focusing on the need. We have at least 4.5 million people who wake up every Monday, 8 to 5, according to the CIA, who dress up and say they are going to work. And only 1.3 are getting pension. So I said, worst case, I'll fix that 2 million. Worst case, we'll fix that 2 million. And we work on it. It's an idea born out of 2014. We are only able to test it and let it work November last year. It was launched by MTN. All of you who read the newspapers that on May 9th, MTN launched my own pension product on their mobile money platform. Everybody thinks it's MTN. It was announced MTN program. Guess what? When I came up with the idea and my own pension and wanted it done, it had everything guaranteed by Fidelity Bank. I was then at Fidelity, wanted to do it with Fidelity. But when I realized Fidelity was not giving it the weight, the first guy I gave it to, he messed me up. Almost 1.5 years, nothing. I refused to give in. Guess what? November, we got only 24,000 Kairos and people on the street contributing. Kairos, we tested with the Kairos once a day. The day they will pay, the next day they will pay, but it's fine. We got 24,000 for them contributing to their pension. 42,000 December. 98 January this year. 150 something February. 277,000 March. 348 April. Guess what I was looking for? 468,000. These are people on the street. We have 40,000 Ghanaian people on the street contributing to a pension that gives they are saving. Last month they saved what? 468,000. In June, we are expecting 500,000 to be saved for them. And we are getting 18% and the rest for their pension. And then, they think within 2-3 years, we will beat SNET in number of people on pension. We will beat within 2-3 years, we will beat SNET. And it's a dream. But let no one stops you in your dream. This man pushed it. A lot of IT companies said it wasn't done. The guy that I gave to, after one meeting, basically fought. And this is supposed to be my best friend from university. He fought. And I told him that he hasn't got the best interest. So we broke up and I found somebody else. What are you doing with your idea? Alright, let me finish because I think I want to give you time to ask questions. I've wasted a lot of time talking about it. Bottom line is that there is funding for every viable project. There is funding for every viable project. So you have to test it and make sure that your project is viable. If your project is viable, I can tell you, if you go to Davis and they think that your project is doable, they will give you funding. That I know. If they believe it's not viable, if you can tell Ghana government to fix its problem, how much more you of your small project, he will tell you it's not. So at least if you want to test if your project is good, but don't let anybody stop you. If you go for a competition and your project does not win, fix the problem. Your project does not win. It does not mean your idea will not. If you go for a competition and you don't win it, forget it. There's a problem. People were not convinced about something. Sometimes maybe you were just nervous and said the wrong things, or your grammar was not good and somebody did not. And some of us who are mathematicians, when you stand in front of people, you say wrong things. Or when you stood up there, all of a sudden I realized that there are too many beautiful women in the room. My God, what am I doing here? And then you messed up. But your solution is probably the best. And don't let people put you down. I said, if you think nobody knows you, remember one thing. The problem that you are solving impacts on some people. And those people may have money. If today you find a cancer cure, all that you need is to send a WhatsApp to Joy FM that I found a cure for cancer. You know how many rich people I'll post on Facebook that you found a cure for cancer. 3 days. See the line at the back of it. Or how many people will friend you. Because of social media and others, fix a problem, you don't need to worry about people not knowing you. What you need is the capital will come. And develop partners. This one I didn't really talk well about it, but I'll try if I have time. I'll go on. Develop partners. Like I said, if you don't want to pay the rent, give some shares to your man instead of parting with money. There's this guy who is so good that if you can have him help your IT business for 2 years, your platform will become one of the best in the country. What are you trying to pay him with? Money. When you can give him 20% of the business and he will stay. Just give him something for his transport and that. After all, he's living with his father's house. His girlfriend is cool with it. He's not ready to marry. Why are you trying to go and raise money, borrow money to pay his salary? Give 20% to the damn guy and let him sit there and work and solve the problem for you. This is in develop partners. If today you give 1% of Apple, all of us will be millionaires. So if the guy will make you Apple and you give 99% to him and you take the 1%, why are you complaining? Stop this 100% thing. Develop partners in your business instead of that. And then I talked about developing, taking time to research. But in all, start small. Be prepared to start small. Be prepared to start small. Factor as much as you can. You trade things, research, but above all, get up and stop complaining that you can't find investors. Prepare your document and knock at the people's doors. Somebody did it 101. He was in the United States. He was a military man. He has gone to the best schools in America and he still had to knock on 1,009 doors. You've gone to only 5 places and even I'm paying money. Get up with your documents and look for partners and say nobody knows you. On that note, I say thank you very much. Ken, have I used all my time or I can still talk?
I can take 10 minutes.
I can take 10 minutes.
For the person.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Now questions. I've left this is for free. This is extra thing. This is something I do. Right? Let me take questions for now. If you have problem raising money, this one is consultancy. I can raise money for any project in my city. Or I can talk you through how to raise it. So if you have a specific question, not about even what I've done, but how to find money somewhere in your project. That one. I don't do this now, but all as much. The banks are paying you the fee, so you can have a pro bono. You know what pro bono is? Who knows what pro bono means? You don't know what pro bono is? Look, there are people like us, or professionals, they are about 5% of their time. It's like charity work. So they do it for free. Go to see, book an appointment. Someone like Isan Kumar, he talks and a lot of the things that he does and do pro bono. Don't pay him. The man is too rich. If he charge you an hourly rate, you know. But he does it for free too. So if you think you have a big case, you can go to him on pro bono. Just say pro bono, massa. They understand what you mean. So Okay, let me take your questions. Yes, ma'am.
Can I get a quote for you?
At least I'm on my feet and I've agreed to answer it. Or you want to come to my office? Don't worry, it's free. It's free, you can always come. You can always come. Hey, if not, I'll start asking questions. Should I ask you a question? Should I ask you a question? So you run a business. Do you own 100%? Do you have a capital issue? You don't have capital issue. Okay. Okay. Why do you still own 100%? But you are solving a need. But where you are working, if this one can convert into a millionaire, what are you doing part time? You see, sometimes you have to take the leap of faith. It's hard. It's hard. I mean, this is a man who I put my kids through the best schools in Accra because Fidelity gives you all the packages and then you drop to the base, right? My wife is not even used to it. She's not used to paying when you go to the till. Then it gets to a point and I say, hey, child, see that today you have to pay. Hey, now they're not jail. It can happen. But today, I won't sell that business for more than less than 4 million, right? So we don't know what we have. Analyze it. Take time. Maybe take a week and think through whether you need to focus on it or not. It may be the next biggest whatever in Ghana. All right. Yeah.
For your startup, when you decide to raise money, second question is, you always take that out of your business. The time you can decide to end out.
If you don't need anybody's money, don't take it. That's the thing. You are the one with the ideas. You are the one who can genuinely say that this business is likely to move from here to there. And you decide how much capital you need. If you cannot estimate that because you are a technician, use a consultant to analyze it. So that you don't rush to take in investors with it. I remember, and I'm going to give a bad example, but you know, international, they have shares in the dealers, right? The man said, I want to invest in you. So whatever business you want to do, because I believe in you, I want to give you money. I looked at him and said, Roland, fund management, I don't need your money. Sorry, I should have come to you earlier, but it's already secure. But my own pension, I need money. He said, no, I want to give it to you. I said, if you give it to me, I can't put it in the business because the law, but I want you to do it that way. That's where the disagreement came and didn't invest. But be very firm about where you think the money should go, else you misappropriate it. His $150,000, that time I could have bought a very nice car and used it, and yeah, Bora would have been rich, but Bora didn't need it. I was ready to sacrifice on a small salary. So you should be the one determined, not investors. Else you get pushed around easily. You get pushed around easily. Okay. Next question. Should I answer your question? Should I? You promise. When you want to double your capacity, what you are doing. Less than 1 year for now. And you put all the pieces in place. And how many partners are you using? 3 for now. Are they all shareholders or? Yeah, they are all shareholders. Thank you. Yes? A jewelry business. Okay. Jewelry. Ladies love jewelry, right? Whether they are Indians or Indians, if it's in India, then the best business run. Jewelry is everywhere. It's good. But do you understand how to make a margin of jewelry? Because really, you can just buy the gold anywhere in Ghana and craft it. Why do you want to go into jewelry? Because is it your passion? And can you guess? You see, what makes the jewelry shops? It's not the jewelry. It's not jewelry shops that make a lot of money. It's not. It's the comfort that when the lady comes in, you'll be able to close the deal. The rich and famous will come, and you should be able to look at the person, a lady or someone, and say that this one will fit you. And she'll go home and get the applause. And then when they come back, if you have that talent, then the rest, the people in the back room and others know. All the jewelry shops that have made money, the front guy person, the ladies trust in their judgment. And you should need that. Because as for gold, everybody likes gold. And if you can craft it, you should be able to convince the person to want it and pay a lot of money for it. But you need to be able to convince them. That is the basis. If you have that training and people trust you, they continue. You need that personal touch. And 2, you need your security system to be good. Because guess what? Working as somebody who has worked in a bank for 20 years, I've been involved or I've seen so many gold fraud schemes. Enough to make you even wonder if it's worth it. And people will come and say that there's a gold band and this one is from Wase, it's all good, and then you take it home, you put it in the safe. By the time you come back, the next day you realize that they are all bars of cake of soap. Hey, look, SSB, that bank, the number of times they've been duped with gold that has gone, their branch managers, at one time, I think the last one was less than 5 years ago. The guy, they had to sack him because they have branches in the gold mining area, and people will bring it and put it in their safe. The Galamsey guys and others, they bring it in their safe. So it's something they do it regularly. They will bring it. The foolish branch manager will easily, joyfully go and put the gold there. The next day, the guy will come and put a knife through it, bang, and the tenant will say, why are you giving me soap? I gave you gold. So if you want to do gold and jewelry, because you are taking baths, smelting, you have to know the process. And if you know it from this, when you see gold dust, you can still turn it into a very nice jewelry and put in the ladies around her neck or her ears and convince them to pay money for it. Then go for it. I'm all for it. Me, you walk into my office and you say that you want to save money and become rich in future. And you say that, okay, let's go upstairs, put a projector down, and you leave and you don't start saving. Because that's me. I'm not a preacher. That's my calling. it's taken me almost 45 years before I realized what my calling in life is. That's what I want to do now. These things are different. So if you think that is your calling, that's what you want to do. Else, that gold industry is a tricky business. Okay? Next. Sorry?
Going up on this question. Like I say, jewelry is a tricky business.
Yeah.
Are there potential fits advice or mentors? Advice investing or to make us profits.
Telling somebody that you will be good in this program.
It doesn't have to be a business passion.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be your passion. But you see, what I showed you here. Why do I go back fast? How the people who succeeded. Here, the first thing, and those who have moved from rags to riches. The road is difficult of entrepreneurship. Is difficult. If you don't have passion for it, you are likely to give up. So I need to find, if I'm advising you, sometimes when you connect well, you can see things that nobody can see. And that's when you solve the problem. Because all of us, God has given us unique things that we need to do on this land. You have to have a passion. Okay? Sometimes you follow others, oh, this guy is making money here, and you want to go to it. That's not what God wants. So you go round and round, find your passion. Let's sit down. Pro bono. Drive in, and get something out of you. What really makes you happy? And then you may find a business that works. Connect. I can work with them, but here it's difficult to say which one works. Because I may tell you IT is the next, or artificial intelligence is the next phase. That makes it. But if you don't know programming, and you don't know how to cajole, you don't know how to coerce seriously intelligent guys to work for you, you are in the wrong business. If you are going to insult the guys who are so, they call them nerds. You need a lot of nerds to work for you. And you might get the nerds to do it for you, to create the best business for you, artificial intelligence or whatever for you. If you know how to just know that, okay, this guy, they're going to sit on your sofa. But when they drop a cup on the floor, you don't complain, you just take it. You just start, how's the thing going? That's all that you need to do to make multi-millionaire out of them. They don't care about the money. All that they know is that he can fix this thing for you. There are guys that in my office that if I go to the kitchen and see the mess that they've caused, but they are so intelligent in doing my models for me that I'll take their cup and wash it, it's fine. But that's how you do it. You know, I'll take their cup and wash it. With time, when they see that, oh, you washed it today, then they themselves will learn, they will pick after you. But it's not day one. So, but I have so much need for them. The guys who can do the model and overnight tell a presentation that beats everybody's presentation. They will do all the things online and bring me the research that the thing does not exist. They will download things that you need to pay money for. They will download it and give it to you. So those people will do it. But it all depends on what you want to solve, what is driving you. So we have to have that conversation before we do it. Okay? Sorry. Next question.
I wanted to know, how do you survive in a business which is naturally capital intensive?
Okay. Capital intensive business how do you survive? Your work is cut out. Capital intensive means that you are only going to survive based on a well-detailed plan, and you need a lot of advisors. Because the money that you are going to raise, it may have to come in from others and not necessarily from you. Banks have to come in. A capital intensive project will probably need leverage ratio of 70% debt and equity 30%. But even the equity 30%, your own may be like 1%. So we have to give you sort of sweat equity. And doing all that, we need advisors. For instance, I had an US ex-Marine who wanted to set the best private school in Ghana, that US citizens will bring their children here. To build it, we need about $60 million somewhere near Elmina. We worked on that project for quite a while until I left him. And then somebody wanted to take part of, say, the seawater around here. Instead of doing the salt, the local way that you do salt, we wanted to bring equipment that can just take the seawater, take the water out, sell the water around, or give it out to the people around Caicos and Mina there free of charge. And then the salt in the water is what we are going to sell. It was $45 million project that we did. The African Development Bank is the one going to. The guys didn't have money. All that they needed was the money to pay our air ticket to Holland. In fact, I had to subsidize that. But that, you need advisors. Don't sit down and think that you can put it together. Even African Development Bank, for them to approve that project, they had to hire a consultant to be paid $90,000 to analyze whether the thing makes sense or it doesn't make sense. So capital intensive, because the money, the initial outlay, the initial money that you're going to spend is so huge. Nobody expects you, the promoter, to have all the money. But what you've thought through, you've researched, what is the best way to do this now? That's the only question that they are going to ask. And you should have the answer to that. What is the best way to do this now compared to the way we've been doing it in the past? We have salt, right? But as soon as we get into the rainy season, we can't sense salt. Why? Because we are drying the sea water in the open and it's not covered. So when rainy season comes, the water just comes in and dilutes it. And then you can't get the salt. Or even if you have heaps of salt, but it's not covered, then when the rainy season comes, you can wake up and then 2 weeks work is all dripping down as water going back into the sea. So we said, okay, we needed to mechanize it. And it's doable. But it's a lot of money, and the promoters didn't have it. But that we need advisors. No question about it. I've told you I've stopped. Okay. 2 more questions and I think we are done. Yes, one there.
For those who don't have ideas to run a business, a private business, and want to invest or build up capital to do something in the future, what do you advise?
Okay, so you go to number 1, means of raising money. Bootstrap. When you don't have any idea to do it, but maybe in future you go in, the first thing is to save like hell. The first thing is to save like hell. Save. until you find a business that will make it work. Save like hell. This country is one of the main problems. Personal savings, you don't do it. Before you give your money to any other business, analyze it carefully, and if you are not sure, you know what, just save. The last analysis that we had, the smartest guys, we call ourselves Warren Buffett babies. You know Warren Buffett?
Yeah.
The richest investor of all time in the world. We learned from him. And we are about 3 of us. We meet regularly to discuss Ghana. And we were able to prove that just giving your money in fixed income over the last 20 years beat shares on Ghana Stock Exchange. Fixed income, which is treasury bills and bank fixed deposits, or giving it to institutions like DLS and others. If you have that mix, you beat anybody who puts his money into it. But to give your money, and it beats putting your money into properties. Look, in the olden days, our oldest people, they were not living for long. Okay? There was time that the Ghanaian man, by age 56, is dead, right? That's life expectancy. The men were 54, the ladies were 56. So the man didn't have to go on pension. He's 50 and he's almost going to his grave. And they didn't have good mechanism to protect their money. They didn't trust a lot of people. So the only thing that they knew was that properties. So a lot of them will buy and put their money into properties. Now we have properties all over. And if you heard, anybody heard about Baumia, it is proven that that's a debt capital. That capital is debt. Even though you can see properties build up, if your children are living in the States and you have 3 houses here, and the tenants are not giving you enough money to look after your children in the States, that capital that you invested is dead. On top, the returns on those ones do not match if you have just been giving treasury bills and fixed deposits. So if you want to save, my advice is that, and you don't have anything, just invest or give it to a good financial advisor to save for you and watch your money grow. When you have a good business and you want to buy in, like, okay, maybe MTN is doing an IPO now. If you look at it, it's a good one, you can invest in it. But until you are sure of the project or you are convinced in a project that you want to invest in, don't. When we met Warren Buffett, went to see him in the States, there's only one thing that started with me. But see, you are all pretty smart. The olden days, the way to invest in the project is that if you ask the person to convince your grandmother, if he understands the job that this guy wants to do, if you can convince that person that this will make money, then you invest in it. Now, the grandmothers are no more than we are in IT and technology. But ask the guy to explain it to you. If after doing 10-15 minutes what he wants to do, he cannot explain it to you, don't invest in it. Sorry. If you spend 10 minutes and it's not coming through, it means that even he himself, he doesn't understand what he's trying to do. It's not coming out, which means you are going to have more trouble. So my main thing is that until you find the one that will make you put everything in it, because this one you understand it and you believe in it, just save your money and build up your savings. Don't just say that I'm going to entrepreneur courses It's fine, it's a good development, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to become an entrepreneur. Even God, when he picked the Israelites, he picked 1/10 and said, you there, you should sit in my house so that you can deal with the issues. So 1/10 of the Israelites were not. Some were supposed to rent farms, others were supposed to fight, and others were supposed to go around and look for the weak. Which one is your job? If the thing is difficult to explain, then maybe you have not researched well enough, or it doesn't really make money, but somebody just needs a job. And that one, you push money that if you know it is gone, it is gone. There are people who come to me and borrow money. As soon as they go, I don't write. So if he comes for 5,000 and I'm giving him, I said a million. Now it's difficult to say a million, but I will say, and tell you that, okay, get this 500 and go. Don't record it because it's okay. It's a dash. And then it's settled. Because you know that the guy, what he's going to do is not going to come back. But now I say I'm 50, I cannot afford to lie to people anymore. So when you come, I'll tell you straight in the face, this thing, it won't work. It won't work. Find something else to do. So at least that one you are guaranteed. But if you have money or you are not so sure, just save it. Okay? Just save it. Father, something good will come out. Maybe the time is not right for you to be an entrepreneur. Thank you very much.
All right.